Hey, thanks for volunteering to serve at Night to Shine 2023. We are so excited and expectant that God is going to do great things at Night to Shine this year. So instead of doing in-person training this year, we're going to be doing this virtual training that I'm going to be doing for you right now. So the first things first, volunteer arrival and check-in info. So all volunteers are going to be asked to arrive at 4 p.m. the day of Night to Shine. And so you're gonna park at Camp Twin Lakes, and right after check-in, there's gonna be a mandatory volunteer meeting at 4:30. So please do not be late because everybody that will be volunteering needs to be at that meeting. We are gonna be providing dinner for all volunteers, excluding buddies who will eat with their guests at the event. And so for everybody else that's not a buddy, we're gonna be eating right after that meeting, and then buddies will eat with their guests. We're gonna be having 2 Night to Shine prep days on February 8th and 9th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's gonna be at Camp Twin Lakes. And so we're gonna be doing things like assembling name tags for volunteers and guests, setting up tables and chairs, assembling goodie bags, building balloon arches, sorting shirts, assembling crowns, writing thank you cards. There's gonna be a lot to do, and no matter how old or young you are, we can definitely use your help. There are so many roles that you have either signed up for or are going to sign up for. And so what I'm gonna do now is just kind of explain each of those really briefly. So the first group is the buddy check-in team. Basically, all you're gonna do is greet buddies, give them their name badges, and kind of direct them where to go. The second is the bathroom attendant team. Bathroom attendants will partner with certified nursing assistants to monitor the bathrooms. So volunteers will assist with washing and drying hands, making sure clothing is straightened, etc. You won't actually be assisting with them toileting. And so the third one is the coat check team. So as guests and parents arrive, volunteers will greet them and offer to take their coat. So there's gonna be a little bit of a filing system. So they're gonna have little tags that you're going to give each guest, and so we'll explain that more in depth at your training meeting right before the event starts. So when we break off into groups, you're going to learn how to do all of that. The fourth is the food service team. So what you're going to be doing is serving food and helping guests carry their plates to their seat and clearing tables, all that stuff. Each guest is going to have a name badge, and their buddy will tell you if they have any dietary needs or anything that they can't eat. Just be very conscientious of that. The fifth group is the gift takeaway team. So you're just gonna make sure that each guest gets a goodie bag. Our sixth team is the greeter team. So greeters will greet guests, direct them as they go from building to building, open and close doors for guests, and just general things like that. Our seventh team is the hair and makeup team. So you'll be touching up guests' hair and makeup and pampering them at the event. The guests love this, and some might come back for a second time, third time, fourth time. Just do whatever they want, pretty much. Our eighth team is the karaoke team. So you're gonna be interacting with guests, cheering for guests, and assisting and calming them down if they get overstimulated or get a little bit nervous when it's their time to sing. The ninth group is the paparazzi team. What they're gonna be doing is lining the red carpet for the evening and cheering on the guests. The 10th team is the sensory room team. You're going to be spending time with guests who may have become overstimulated on the dance floor or in other areas of the prom. And so here you're just gonna hang out with the guests, calm them down. We're gonna have some sensory toys and coloring books, etc., that you can help in calming them down. This brings us to the buddy team. Each guest is going to be required to be accompanied by a buddy. So those people will provide companionship and any general assistance needed during the event. There's a few guidelines for buddies per the Tim Tebow Foundation. That means that buddies who are 18 years or older will be required to pass a background check, along with all of our volunteers. Anybody that's over 18 is going to be required in order to volunteer to pass a background check. Buddies who are 16, 17 years old may serve as a new friend if they have prior experience working with individuals with special needs, and no background check is necessary. But on the registration, there is a box that your parents will need to complete that says that they are giving you permission to volunteer at this event. The next team that we want to talk about is our Caregiver event team. So while Night to Shine is happening, we're having a whole nother event at Camp Twin Lakes for the parents and caregivers. This event is specifically for the parents and caregivers of our guests. It takes place in the dining room on site during the prom. Those volunteers are needed to assist with greeting, serving, and praying for and loving on each person who attends. There's going to be a dance floor. We're going to have a few massage therapists that are going to be there, some giveaways. It's going to be a really fun time. And lastly, this brings us to the teardown team. Volunteers will take down tables and chairs and other items as needed. Some heavy lifting may be required. Essentially, we're all on this team. No matter where you're serving for the evening, you're going to be asked to clean up your area. And so dance floor, you're going to help with tables and chairs and the table decorations, and hair and makeup, you're going to help in taking all the decorations down, moving tables and mirrors and all that kind of stuff so that we can easily pack it all up at the end of the evening. Here's some extra information for those of you who are serving on the buddy team. Number 1 is never leave your buddy during the evening, no matter what. Seriously, don't leave them. Number 2, if you have any major or minor medical issues, please notify an adult nearby and they'll seek a medical team member for you. We have a medical team on standby, and so if there's anything that goes on, for real, just let us know. They're here for that. Number 3, as the event begins to wrap up around 8:45, take your buddy to reconnect them with their parent or caretaker in the lobby and help retrieve their prom favors and coat. Number 4, for guests with severe impairments, know that their chaperone will stay with you to assist. So you're still their buddy, you're still going to have the best time with them, but their chaperone will stay just in case anything happens and you need a little more help. Number 5, for restroom breaks, know that it is not your responsibility to assist the guest in the bathroom. On the back of their name tag, it's going to have their parents' phone number and contact information, so you can easily contact them if they need help in the bathroom. Number 6, if you'd like to stay in touch with your guest after the event, we encourage that. Be sure to ask permission of their parent or caretaker before they leave. And lastly, ask several times throughout the evening if they need to use the restroom. For buddies that will have a guest in a wheelchair, these tips are for you. Number 1 is that for those independent in using their chairs, always ask if they want help. Number 2, be careful in crowded hallways. Allow extra time to transition. 3, gently take hold of an arm during transition. 4, if a conversation lasts more than a few minutes and it is possible to do so, sit down in order to share eye level. It's uncomfortable for a seated person to look straight up for a long time. We want our guests to know that they are the most valuable and important people in the room. People First language aims to avoid perceived and subconscious dehumanization when discussing people with disabilities. To prevent unintentionally offending someone, we've provided a list of terms to avoid. So take a few minutes and study these terms and do your best to not use them. Here are a few ways that you can respectfully reword a few phrases. Instead of a disabled person, say a person with disabilities. Instead of saying a special needs person, say a person with special needs. Instead of wheelchair-bound person, say person in a wheelchair. Instead of autistic person, say a person with autism. The key thing to remember is to put the person first. They are not their disability. They are first and foremost a child of God, and a person with feelings and emotions just like you. Here's some general tips for communicating. When offering assistance to a person with a disability, wait until help is accepted and then ask how you can best assist them. Address them just as you would any other person. It's acceptable to offer a handshake during introductions, even if the other person has limited mobility in their hand or an artificial limb. Do not alter your voice or speak in a childish manner. If an interpreter is present, speak directly to the person and not the interpreter. Do not lean on anyone's wheelchair. Do not interact with service animals without asking first. If the person with whom you're speaking has a visual disability, make sure you identify yourself and any people who may be accompanying you. Be patient if the person whom you're speaking to has trouble understanding you. Don't get frustrated or raise your voice in an unpleasant way. Here are a few tips in preventing and handling uncomfortable situations. Number 1, if you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation, don't be afraid to ask for help. Number 2, some signs of overstimulation include yelling, screaming, crying, extreme fidgeting, fearful looks, and/or aggressive behavior. If this happens, redirect them to a quieter location, and if needed, find your guest chaperone/guardian, or take them to our sensory room. Maintain your composure and speak kindly at all times. Never go off alone with any guests. Make sure you maintain physical boundaries and don't in any way encourage a guest to view you as their boyfriend or girlfriend. And lastly, here are a few reminders that will help you for the evening. Number 1, wear comfortable shoes. Number 2, be aware that our guests may see you as their boyfriend or girlfriend, and be careful how you dress. Give very clear cues that you are just friends. Number 3, please stay in designated areas and no roaming the campus. Camp Twin Lakes is huge and it's really easy to get lost, so just go to the designated areas that are ours for the evening. Do not be afraid to ask for help if you're in an uncomfortable situation. Regardless of your volunteer position, please feel free to step in and help if an issue or a situation arises. We're all on the same team. If you have any questions about anything that we talked about in this video, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at sophie@fusionchurchmadison.org. We're so excited to have you guys volunteering with us this year, and we can't wait for Night to Shine 2023. Thank you.